What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. So this is going to be P Valley season 2, episode 6, I think. What? Are we on 6 or 7? Um, but we open up this episode. Well, I think I forgot to say in last episode, Child Terica pregnant. She 14 and she pregnant. Okay, but we pick up with this episode. We have Miss Ernestine on stage singing, and we see her go through the decades. Like as she's singing the song, it goes through. It looks like it starts in like maybe the 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and then of course where she no longer is. That at some point it transitions into the Pink Child, and but then we basically she's dreaming, and we come to present day where she's in bed sick, and Lil Murda is there taking care of her. Lil Murda, well, she's in bed sick now. Lil Murda was laying on the couch thinking about Big Teak and getting all upset and getting in his feelings, and then he heard Miss Ernestine coughing, so he went to go check on her. Child, Lil Murda done cooked her a whole meal. He done cooked her some, sweet potatoes, collard greens, some more stuff, and she could smell it, and he was like, well, dang, you must be doing all right, because they said this, this is supposed to take people's sense of smell, and you can smell all of this. And she said, baby, that's all I got. That's the only thing I got is my sense of smell. And she said, you mess around and you might have, basically, she said a bee, not wanting you to leave. And he said, nah, Miss Ernestine, you all right. She said, I ain't talking about me. I ain't the bee I'm talking about. And he was like, well, you might need to put in a good word for me with Uncle Clifford. That's the other thing we see too. When Miss Ernestine is singing, we see Clifford when he's a baby with his mama, and Child Clifford got a Gucci purse. Somebody that gave the baby a Gucci handbag that he was running around the club in. That comes back later on in the episode with him and Lil Murda talking, and Lil Murda sees that purse, and he's like, basically this bag done seen better days. And he was like, that was my first purse, He said, I used to run around the Pink with it, and if anybody said something to me, my mama would whoop their ass. But we see that Miss Ernestine is still really sick, but knock on wood, nobody else seems to be sick. Lil Murda got his mask on and stuff, but he's in the house, so he's stuck there. Now down to the Pink, Haley and Uncle Clifford meet up. Now they supposed to be keeping their distance, child. But Lil Murda not Lil Murda, damn, Uncle Clifford don't even have on a daggone mask, knowing good and daggone well that his ass been exposed. But they have the conversation. He said, listen, I'm tired of fighting with you, and I'm tired of sitting here trying to figure out ways that I can get rid of you, short of basically getting rid of you. And she said, well, you won't be the first person that tried to kill me. And he was like, now speaking of that, and she said, Uncle Clifford, I'm not changing my mind. Like, I have an opportunity to sell, the paint. They've offered me $5 million, and I know I could get them to 10. And he was like, don't give me that old speech about what I can do with that money. And he said, I can open up another joint, but it won't be the paint. It won't be this place. He said, it's not just that we sitting on good swampland. Like, this is my livelihood, this is my life, this is my legacy, this is my family's legacy. Like, I can't, I just can't seem to walk away from that. And she was like, listen, I'm giving you an opportunity to keep your legacy going. And she said, let's not forget how I got the Pink. The money that I used to buy the Pink is the money that I stole, that I blood, sweat, and through my blood, sweat, and tears, I got that money to start a new life for me and my daughter, who ain't even here. So, my daughter wouldn't want me to let our dreams fall to the wayside for you. And so, I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my daughter. And Uncle Clifford was like, but baby, your daughter not here no more. And I think that was a tough pill to swallow, but I feel like, part of that was out of desperation that he said that, but part of it I think was, listen, you can't keep living, like you got to move on too. You telling me to move on, but you got to move on too. And he gave her a history lesson while he was there about, what happened at the Pink and all the different people that came through there, and his family, all of that. Like, I get all of that, but child, I'm sorry. I'm with Haley. You tell me you trying to get a deal that's gonna push me where I walk away with about $3 million, whereas 2 years ago I was getting ready to lose the whole thing. Ciao, bye. Moving on. Now Terica is still staying with Mercedes. She pregnant child. She hiding out from her other mama, and Mercedes is like, girl, what you gonna do? Like, you starting a show, you need to make a decision about what you're gonna do. She was like, what you mean? What am I gonna do? She was like, what do you want to do? Basically, are you gonna keep this baby or not? Like, you 14 years old. Like, you ain't ready to take care of no daggone baby. You ain't ready to be nobody's mama. And she was like, come on, let's she tells her she gonna get her some ice cream, child. They gonna go down to the TCBY. It's been so long since I seen a TCBY, child. So she gets her in the car, and baby, she taking her down to Jackson. Now, down to Jackson is the clinic. And she said, so you want me to kill my baby? Because that's the only thing that people do down in Jackson. And Mercedes was like, I ain't saying you need to kill your baby. I'm saying we need to get our options. You need to go. You need to talk to the doctor and see what your options are. Because at the end of the day, like, you 14 years old and you pregnant. Like, and it's one of those things where it's like, well, I don't want you to make the same mistakes I made, kind of thing. So they ride down there, and, Terica tells her who the daddy is and how he don't want her to get rid of the baby. How he said he gonna get him a part-time job, child. And she said, a part-time job? She said, child, bye. She said, your daddy, he making all them same promises that your daddy made to me until I told him I was pregnant. Like, child, until I found out I was pregnant. And then there's a part where Terica has to go to the bathroom, so they pull over at like a little diner, and we see Mercedes have a flashback of Patrice. Now, here's what I thought was crazy. Now, her Patrice was at the diner. She told me, we'll be sleeping tonight, which tells you that they were homeless. They didn't even have nowhere to sleep. And she said, well, a friend of mine said that we could stay, at his house. She said, but I'm a little short on the bill. She said, why don't you, and she looked over at a table full of guys and was like, why don't you, work your magic? And Mercedes is like, nah, that's all right. I got the money. She opens up her wallet to take the money out to pay for the meal, and her mother finds a condom. And then her mother proceeds to yell at her about the fact that she got a condom and who she's sleeping with. And she said, my boyfriend, whoever Terica's daddy is, child. And she proceeds to beat Mercedes' ass in the middle of the diner. Now, first of all, I'm trying to figure out why ain't nobody stop her from beating that girl in the middle of the diner. But I guess everybody was like, we gonna mind our business. That's grown folk. That's their business. But the flip side is, so you was cool with your daughter flirting and turning men on or whatever you wanted her to do to get the money to pay the bill, but you mad that she actually having sex with a dude that she's claiming as her boyfriend? Weird. So weird. It was so crazy to me. But it gave you some more insight into Mercedes' relationship with her mama, child. So, they keep riding. They go down, and so they get to the clinic at Jackson, and of course you have all the pro-life people out front, chanting and trying to, they weren't blocking them from going in, but of course trying to discourage them from going in. And Terica's mad at Mercedes because she doesn't want to think about giving up her baby. She's like, you want to give up, you want me to give up my baby? What, like, you thought about giving me up? Because of course now Terica's thinking, well, is this what you were thinking about giving me up? And Mercedes is like, look, I ain't about to sit here and lie to you. Like, I'm not going to lie and say that it didn't, that I didn't think about it, but I didn't think long, I kept you. And she don't even know when her due date is. She don't even know because she, her period ain't regular. She wasn't paying attention. And she was like, these are all the reasons why you're not ready to have a child. Like, you don't even know to pay attention to your body. You don't even know to pay attention to what's going on to know what you got going on. So they go and she gets examined. Baby, she's 14 weeks. And the nurse tells her, listen, or it might have been a doctor. I don't want to be disrespectful. But she tells her, listen, you don't have a lot of time. You need to make a decision. You don't have a lot of time to figure out what you're going to do. So she said, Mercedes was like, does she need to make a decision now? And she was like, no, we got a mandatory 24-hour waiting period. But at the end of those 24 hours, she going to have to, her window really is small. So, child, Terica's friends done told her that you get cancer from an abortion and all these other things. And she gave her some good facts, like, no, she gave her the facts about abortion and childbirth and stuff like that. So anyway, we'll get back to them. So then we see Mississippi in the grocery store with her husband, and of course he's trying to make her happy because he know that she's still mad at him or whatever. And we see Haley there, and Haley, they make eye contact, and so she lies to her man, tell him that she got to get over to the makeup aisle to cover up another black eye. I don't know if that's the same black eye or a different black eye, but child, she still got that black eye. And of course Haley sees her face, and Haley's like, girl, so what's up? You never use my gun? Like, girl. And she said, I tried, but I can't do it. I can't pull the trigger. She said, well, listen, there's more than one way to leave, and when you ready to leave, you let me know. Now, while they were in there, he was trying to get her to be happy. He was like, you want to go down to the outlets? We can go get them Prada booties that you wanted for the baby. And she was like, nah, she just going to outgrow them anyway. So later on in the episode, Haley shows up at Mercedes' house with a Prada bag. And in the bag, of course they go in the back. And she's telling her, she said, listen. And she tells her this whole story about a princess running away, and she takes her baby with her, but she had stored up her tears in a back trash bag, and when she dumped out the tears, there was so many tears in the bag that it drowned the baby. And Mississippi was like, girl, what you talking about? Like, what you talking about? She said, I'm saying, don't wait till too long and keep them tears stored up, and you end up drowning your babies. She said, like I told you, if you want to get out, there are other ways of getting out. And she had put a cell phone in the Prada bag, in the little shopping bag, and she said, when you ready to leave, you give me a call. So somebody give him Mississippi a way out. Uncle Clifford get home, child, and of course he immediately starts. He don't hear no noise, he don't hear no voices. He immediately starts panicking, thinking that Murder ain't take care of his grandmama, that he ain't, check her insulin, he didn't feed her and all that good stuff. But they realize, he go upstairs and Murder's in the room and his grandmama is asleep. So they go downstairs to eat, and of course, he's impressed by Lil Murder's cooking skills, child. So they get to talking, and Murder is Uncle Cliff is talking to Lil Murder about what's going on with the pank or whatever, and he's telling him about the money and stuff. And Lil Murder was like, I bet you probably think I'm stupid for not wanting the money. And Lil Murder was like, nah, like, listen, money ain't everything, and you can't take it with you. And he was like, I thought you said you always choose the money. And he was like, I used to always choose the money, but now I done learned, I learned some things are more important. So of course they, make eye contact or whatever. And then he asked him, he said, well, Uncle Clifford, you got, why give up everything you want for, if it's not going to make you happy? And he was like, I don't have everything I want. So then he says, well, look, I'm sorry, I'm talking about me, what's going on with you? How are you all right? He was like, I heard you on the couch last night, crying. And of course, Murder was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he jumps up, walks off or whatever. So then, Lil Murder checks his phone, and his phone is blowing up because the song that he did with Tina Snow, aka Meg Thee Stallion, is blowing up, and everybody want him. They want him to do appearances, they want him to do shows, they want him to do, everybody want him. And Murder was like, yeah, man, I ain't really been checking my phone. He was like, who gonna be my security? And so, he was on the phone with Buddha. He was like, well, yeah, that was kind of messed up what happened with Teak. He was like, man, you good? You all right? So then he hears Miss Ernestine coughing, so he was like, look, I gotta go, So he goes to check on her, and she's, she's not doing very, no, I'm sorry, that wasn't Miss Ernestine. That was a bunch of noise upstairs in Uncle Clifford's room, because he's looking for some clothes for Lil Murder. He said, I know I need to get you another change of clothes. So he trying to find something for him to wear. He going through all his stuff or whatever. So he actually goes in. He was like, oh, so this is, this where all the magic happens. This where it is. And he was like, yeah, he said, only the privileged get to come in here. And so Lil Murda was like, well, I hope to, be privileged one day. And he was like, boy, you already in here. Like, duh. Like, hello, you in here. Like, you privileged. Duh. So, of course they get to talking or whatever and laughing and stuff and kind of, reminiscing. That's when they find the purse, Uncle Clifford's old, Gucci bag. And, they get to laughing and stuff like that. And, Lil Murda sees that Uncle Clifford had his postcards. And he was like, you kept them? And he was like, yeah. He said, well, which one was your favorite one? And he was like, the one where you said I look good in red. He said, yeah, I came by here that day before I left. You had on that red outfit. You wouldn't even give me the time of day. And he was like, well, And Uncle Clifford said, listen, I understand why you did what you did on murder night. And he was like, well, you still mad at me? He was like, I don't get mad. I get disappointed. But I understand what you did. And Lil Murda told him, he said, listen, I'm used to dealing with dudes who are like me, who pass. It's hard. It was hard in that moment for me to, much as I wanted to be with you, it was just different because I was used to being with people that I could hide, He said, I'm in a world where people aren't going to allow me to be who I am, So then they hear the door open, child, and they go running downstairs, child. Miss Ernestine done ran out the house. She done ran, she done walked out the house. And she's walking to the water. She was trying to walk into the water, and they caught her just in enough time before she actually walked into the water, but she's not doing well at all. Like, she is really, really, really bad. And they end up having to get her back to the house, and they do end up calling the ambulance, and Uncle Clifford is upset. It's his grandmother. He's upset. And she was saying, I'm ready, Beulah. Just let me go to Beulah. And they were like, well, who is Beulah? And he was like, that's my mother. And his mother's dead. So Miss Ernestine saw her a couple of times this episode as well. So after they take him away in the ambulance, of course, Uncle Clifford is upset. We see him in the shower. We see him crying in the shower. And then when he gets out the shower, Murda is dressed up in one of his outfits, dancing around to Cisco, because earlier in the episode, Uncle Clifford didn't think Murda knew who Cisco was. He was like, I know who Cisco is, nigga. What you talking about? And I'm sure he was doing that just to make him happy, to make him laugh. And then Uncle Clifford started crying. Once the moment sort of passed, he started crying again. And Lil Murda was trying to comfort him. And the child, they get the kissing. And then after the kissing, what come next. And Lil Murda Uncle Clifford went to go grab for the condom. And Murda was like, nah. He was like, I'm good. I'm safe. Are you safe? He was like safe, like negative safe. Like, I'm negative. You negative? He was like, yeah, I just want to feel you in me. I just want to feel the skin. And so Uncle Clifford actually topped Lil Murda. Well, this particular time. And they had sex and everything, child. And the next morning, Lil Murda was like, why did you sleep with me last night? And he was like, because you needed me. He said, and to be honest, I needed you too. So I was like, oh, okay, that's cute. So then we see Mercedes and Terica, they going to spend a night in Jackson. So they stand at a little no-tail motel, child. And they in the pool. They got their little feet in the pool and stuff. And it's kids. This is woman running around with these kids in the pool. And she was like, look, there go your future. She was like, there go your future right there. She was like, she said, well, why do you want me to get rid of my baby? Like, I'll be a good mother. I could do this. I could take care. I won't be, I'm not going to be like y'all. I'm not going to, do what y'all did to me. And she was like, girl, look, you think it's easy? At the end of the day, you got to make the decision for you. She was like, well, you'll be a good grandma. Mercedes was like, what? I ain't trying to be nobody's grandma. I'm 30 years old. Like, what is wrong with you? And she was like, well, you could do it. You could help out, and we could make it happen. We could make it work. I'll stay with you, and we can make it work. And, Mercedes is trying to let her know, listen, I'm not telling you no. I'm telling you it ain't what you think it's going to be. Like, you're 14 years old. You are not ready to be nobody's damn mama. So they in the room that night, and of course they get into the argument, child. They get the fussing again. And, Mercedes is trying to let her know, listen, I tried to be a mother to you. People around me would not let me. She said, well, what about, I get it. Okay, I couldn't come live with you, but what about all the missed visitations? What about all the times that, I just wanted you there? And she was like, listen, I did, Mercedes was like, listen, you'll never understand the sacrifices I made for you. And Mercedes was like, but I just wanted you there. Like, I didn't care about the money. I didn't care what I wanted you. Like, the birthdays that you missed, the weekends that I couldn't come spend time with you. Like, yeah, there were times when, I know that the people around us didn't let it happen, but there were times that you didn't take advantage of the opportunity that you had as well. So they have a good heart to heart, where I think Terica finally gets through to Terica that Mercedes was doing the best she could with what she had, child. She was a child trying to figure it all out with a mama who won't shit, And the next morning they get up and Terica was like, so you gonna make me go to Jackson? She said, She said, I tell you what, she gives her the keys. Now, mind you, Terica been driving all around Chucalissa. And she had asked to drive before, and Mercedes told her, girl, hell no. But she gave her the keys. She said, I tell you what, we either gonna go back to Chucalissa or we gonna go to Jackson. That's your decision to make. Like, I can't make that decision for you. And so, of course, they're driving, and she went to Jackson. So she had the abortion. So we see them later on, and the Mercedes is smiling. She's real. She don't let Terica see her smiling, but she's very happy that that's the decision that she made. So they're laying on the couch, she went and got the child the TCBY ice cream, child. She got her ice cream. And, child, they see a commercial for Patrice Woodbine for mayor, child. And she was like, do you think I'm going to hell? And she said, no, you ain't going to hell. She said, listen, don't let her dictate our lives. Like, she don't have nothing to do with what we doing over here. You know what I mean? Like, child, I've been dealing with my mama a long time. Don't even let her be the reason, okay? And that's pretty much what happened in this episode. We almost, we getting close to the end, child. So I don't know. We're gonna see what ends up happening with this situation with Mississippi. And Lord, please don't kill Loretta Devine. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later.